Are these ready to rock and roll?
Check, check.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Check, check.
For the best podcast, right? We're kicking off this party with some local legends that you guys know, right? Here in sports states, we're listening to the radio stuff that I respect, but when these two are talking, you listen. They know what they're talking about, and they have all the insights that we wish they had. So we got to remember them. So, first, let's give a round of applause to Joe Marino. So I don't know if you guys know, Joe is a huge catalyst for making this happen. So we are all grateful for him. It makes some noise, it's fine. Yeah. All right, now joining him is someone you all know and love. We all know the theme song. We probably sing it at work all the time, right? Make some noise for Sal Capaccio. So I know you hear him on WGR 550. He's bringing the insights from One Bills Drive to One Bills Live and others. That's on WGR. So you guys ready for some expert analysis on the Bills before the season opener? All right, so you guys have to be very loud. Now, all right, let's get ready to hear some great insight on the Bills from Joe Marino and Sal Capaccio on Locked On Bills podcast.
Check, check. What's up, Bills Mafia? It's Joe Marino, author of Go Bills and Buffalo's Run, also the co-host of the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast, and I'm your host of Locked On Bills. My goodness, I'm excited to be here. This is awesome. This turnout is incredible. thank you for being here. This means the world to me. This means the world to me. Unbelievable. Super excited for Sal Capaccio to be with me here. Obviously have a lot to discuss with the Buffalo Bills, and get ready for the season. It's tomorrow. It's happening. Bills, Cardinals. Wait all year for this stuff, folks. It's going to be here tomorrow. I cannot wait for it. And like I said, we have plenty of things to discuss with the Buffalo Bills today. But I want to just start by just saying thank you. Like, I am humbled. I am grateful. This means so much to me that you guys are here and supporting what we have going on. I also do a podcast, right? And so I do a podcast and I talk into a microphone and there's a computer in front of me. And I know that you guys are there, but I can't see you. And it means the world to me that I can see you. But I need to take a moment real quick here and say thank you to my family. My wife is here, Lorraine. I promise you she's the hardest working person in our household. She's unbelievable. Absolute dream partner in life. I love you more than anything in the world. You are the best thing in my life. My grandparents are here. Grandpa Don, Grandma Judy. My grandmother's been telling me for as long as I've been awake that this is our year. This is our year, right? You can feel it in your bones, right, Grandma? Let's go. This is our year. Grandpa Don, probably one of the most influential people in my life, supports me and anything that I need. I love you guys. Thank you so much. My cousin Tom. Yeah, let's go.
Yes,
My
baby.
cousin Tom. That's somebody that believed in me before I believed in myself. Thank you so much. My Aunt Kathy and Uncle Buzz. Wedding anniversary today, right? Happy anniversary. Let's go. You guys remember Aunt Karen? Yeah, she's here. We did training camp from last year, was all in her kitchen. Thankful to her. My cousin Shania, Kelly. Thank you guys so much for being here. But I had to do that, guys. I had to say that. Thank you. 17th, make sure that you don't walk out of here without telling her happy birthday. Sal.
What's up, buddy?
Sorry to keep you waiting there.
No, it's all good. That was amazing. You just set the bar really high for the next time I talk about my wife being in the same room with me. I just want you to know that.
So listen, the season kicks off tomorrow. It's exciting. Also a little nervous, right? Don't you guys have a little nerves about it? Like, you want it to be the year Josh Allen's the quarterback. You feel like they can do it. And there's always like this nervousness that I have about any season that's coming up, even though I have high expectations for the Buffalo Bills. So what I want to do here to start out our conversation is talk about why I'm excited. Like, why I'm excited for the Buffalo Bills this year, despite the transition, turnover, a lot of newness with this football team. The AFC is really good. But there's still plenty of reasons to be optimistic about this football team. And that conversation starts with the quarterback. It starts with Josh Allen. That's one of the special players in the entire NFL. And what makes me most excited about Josh Allen this year, Sal, is there feels like there's some doubt. The players are in the league calling him overrated. We got an executive calling him overrated. No Stephon Diggs, no Gabe Davis. Josh Allen has made a career out of proving people wrong. And they may have just ignited a little bit of fire in Josh Allen for this year.
Yeah, you got it. By the way, and I'm serious about that before I go any further, my wife is here, Yana, she's amazing, and Max, who I always talk about, is running around too. So if you see them, say hi. They are here, so thank you for having me and inviting me. And Joe reached out to me a couple days ago and said, hey, you want to come on the podcast here? And this turnout for you is incredible and just shows what you've done, and I'm proud to kind of be here with you. So thank you. Thank you. Listen, Josh is one of the best in the league. We know that. He's an elite quarterback. Every time I go on a radio station around the country, a national show, they ask me, is this a step back? Can the Bills contend? I say, of course they can. They have number 17. Once you have a quarterback like that, you're always going to be in contention for a Super Bowl. And I do think Josh, as much as he doesn't show it, takes it a little bit personally, internally, when he hears things like that and he sees things like that. I will also tell you, and I know this, the Buffalo Bills care. Brandon Beane cared a lot that Josh Allen was called overrated by an executive during training camp, he was asked, what do you think about somebody saying Josh Allen's overrated? Brandon Beane's response was, there are idiots everywhere. That's what he said. All right? So Josh Allen, his teammates have his back. They want to prove that he's the best quarterback in the league, that he's up there that can win a Super Bowl. He can win MVPs. No doubt about it. But I also think that Josh Allen is also the ultimate team player. And if it means that he can only throw for 150 yards a game and they win tomorrow, or they win 11, 12 games doing that, Josh Allen's going to be perfectly comfortable with that. It's not about him. It's about winning. But no doubt about it, when you have number 17, you have a chance to win the Super Bowl, and that hasn't changed.
I'm really excited that this team has a bit of an underdog mentality about them this year. That's another reason that I'm excited for the season. Feels like the last 2-3 years, everybody was picking the Bills to win the Super Bowl. And that's fun. We love that. But now they get to play from this perspective of expectations are a little bit lower, whether they should be or not. And I like the idea of this team playing from that vantage point where, I don't know, Sal, you've watched the Super Bowl every year, and you hear Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes get up there, and they put the Lombardi trophy above their head, and they say, everybody doubted us. Nobody thought we could do it. Even if that's not even true, I think that this puts a chip on their shoulders, and you can understand the DNA and the types of players that Brandon Beane has brought into this football team. It's a lot of guys that have had tough uphill battles, guys that have had to really work for everything they've been given in football. Now they're doubted. I think that chip on their shoulders could go a long way in this season being better than maybe some people expect.
Yeah, and I think that, yeah, no doubt. Listen, I think personally, too, these guys are taking it a little bit. We've heard guys like Deion Dawkins talk about, Deion has some goals. Like he wants to be all-pro Schno is what he said, right? Like Deion, he's taking it personal. He's protecting Josh. Greg Rousseau, he knows what's on the line for him here as he goes into his fourth season. We've heard guys talk about them individually being a part of a team and showing that they have still so much talent on this team after so much walked out the door for a lot of reasons. I think they're taking it personal that people are saying, well, you have no more Micah Hyde. You have no more Jordan Poyer. You have no more Mitch Morris, no more Stephon Diggs, no more Gabe Davis. And like, yeah, but we have this guy, we have that guy, we have me. And they want to prove that as well. Yes, they want to go into this year and show everybody that the same Bills team that you've seen over the last few years contending has been no different. And I think the difference is here for them, though, this year. They feel like they're back to being, for whatever reason, this is not a Stephon Diggs take necessarily. For whatever reason, I think they feel like they need to become a team and show everybody that it's not about a collection of individuals. It's about being a team and getting to a Super Bowl and winning it and winning a Lombardi as a group.
Give it up for Sal. Let's go. Appreciate the energy, guys. I love it. Thank you. Another reason I'm excited for the Buffalo Bills this year is the young talent on this football team. Right? A lot of conversation. No Poyer, no Hyde, no Troy Davis-White, no Stephon Diggs, no Mitch Morse. What about the young talent that is developing, right? That's something that gives me a lot of hope, not just for this season, but into the future. When you go through the inventory of young players on this football team, whether it's Osiris Torrance or Dalton Kincaid or Spencer Brown or Khalil Shakir or James Cook or Ed Oliver or Greg Rousseau or Terrell Bernard or Christian Benford. The list goes on and on.
I love the fact you're doing this because you're making a great point right now just by doing that, and I know you're doing it intentionally too. Look at all the guys they lost. Everybody says, you lost this and lost that and lost this. They still have a lot of great young core players.
Right.
They still have a great, terrific young roster. It's not maybe the same roster we're used to with these core players, but all those names you mentioned, they still have one heck of a roster from top to bottom.
And I didn't even mention a single rookie. There's 10 rookies
right.
on this football team. And that's what this team needed, a bit of a reset. What's interesting for us as Bills fans is that we've not really been to a point in a long time where the general manager and the head coach is this year 8? Is this the 8th season?
8.
This is uncharted territory. And so we haven't been through this situation where a roster is assembled, it's built up, it gets to a certain point, and you have to reset it with the same people in place. Typically, it's every 2-3 years. Okay, it's on to the next guy. It's a perpetual rebuild. This is a rebuild within an established situation with a young nucleus that's in place that's been getting better. I think the player development under Sean McDermott over the last few years has been really, really good. A big reason why I'm optimistic this season.
So a couple of things you touched on I agree with. Brandon Beane actually on our radio station said it was fair to call it a transition. That's what it is. It's a transition. look, how many times did we watch, and I get it, we don't love thinking about the Patriots winning, but what they did through their run was every few years they had a whole new team. Tom Brady would be throwing to a whole bunch of receivers for 3 years, a whole new group of receivers next 3 years. They had a whole new defense every 3-4 years. The Bills are in a transition. They're not middling it. They're saying we're going from this group to this group. We're going to rip off the Band-Aid, so to speak. We're not going to try and middle it. We're going to go with a whole new group. They're in a transition. There's no doubt about that. So when they take a look at their finances and they say, what do we need for the future? We still have these young guys we identify. Give an extension to a guy like Spencer Brown while you still do it for a guy like Deion Dawkins, who's been here since 2017. You identify those players who still are relevant for you for the next several years. This is not a rebuild. This is not a reset. This is a transition year for the Buffalo Bills. And I think in the walls of One Bills Drive, they truly feel like they are still a team that's going to contend for a Super Bowl.
One more reason that I want to get into that I'm optimistic for the Bills in 2024. And I know that this guy's a bit of a polarizing figure. But Sean McDermott. And I know the opinions can be all over the place on Sean McDermott. A lot of urgency, right? The Bills have Josh Allen. You want them to go win the whole Super Bowl. Josh Allen wasn't on this team in 2017. And everybody in the whole world said that team was tanking.
Yes.
9-7, made the playoffs. And I think that Sean McDermott proved a lot in that season, not only then, but they haven't lost a game by more than one possession since November of 2021. He has this team in every single game. And so, at a minimum, Sean McDermott sets a floor for this operation that tells me that they have a chance to win every week.
Well, I mean, anybody who listens to the radio knows I believe Sean McDermott's a really good football coach. I've been called a lot of things about, defending him or an apologist. That's not what it is. I just think it's really tough to have what the Buffalo Bills have, which is what you said. A coach, a GM, they're in alignment. They build this roster, they build this team, and they're always going to be in contention for how well the operation runs. Look around the league. This is not normal, what the Buffalo Bills have. Yes, they've fallen short. And yes, we can point to, you should have won this game. How did you let Mac Jones drive down the field? How did you let 13 seconds happen? I get it. All that is true. He has to own it. There's no doubt about it. But there's one thing you could say, this team is always going to be in contention with the way they coach, they win their operation. I love what you said earlier about player development. I've been a Bills fan and follower for a long time. I'm getting old now. A lot of you out there can know and will say, I don't think there's been better player development in this organization since the 1990s. This is the best player development we've had. Think about the guys that you've mentioned. Taron Johnson, Greg Rousseau, James Cook, Dalton Kincaid now, Dawson Knox, over the years, what they've done here without Josh Allen even. The player development in this organization, getting guys like Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. But that's a testament to Sean McDermott hiring coaches, setting the floor, as you said, and I agree. This is a team that's always going to be in games, understand that, what it takes to beat the next opponent. And you know what? You can have your opinions that maybe they've hit their ceiling on Sean McDermott at some point. I understand that. I think that's fair. But where they've been to where they are now, to be in contention every year, is a testament to this organization from top to bottom with Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott, and I think they're in a great spot.
All right, so we got some topical stuff that I want to get into here in just a second. Is Frank from Miami here? Where's Frank from Miami?
Frank from Miami, where are you?
Are you here, Frank?
Are you here? He was just over here a little while ago.
All right, Frank, come on. So Frank is here from Miami. Frank and his son have never been to a Bills game. First Bills game ever tomorrow. And I'm excited for him because I've been to Bills games before. We know that's an amazing experience. And so if you're going to the game tomorrow and you have tailgates, Frank wants the whole experience, so make sure that you hook him up. And one of my objectives today is I want to give away some hats. You guys know I wear hats, right? So I want to give away a hat, and I want to give it to Frank because one of my things that I wanted to do was acknowledge somebody that had come a long way for the game. Thank you, Frank. Go Bills. Enjoy your first game. My wife over here taking pictures. Head on a swivel. We got more to give away.
There you go. Great job.
So there's some topical stuff that I want to get into. I mean, Spencer Brown just signed a 4-year contract extension. We don't have the terms on that. We know he's going to be handsomely paid. Sal, what are your thoughts here? I mean, locking up Spencer Brown, part of the player development that we've already gotten into, uneven start to his career, but really came into his own in year 3 in his second season with Aaron Cromer. And I think you saw this Bills offensive line play extremely well, gave up the fewest sacks in the NFL. Run game was really good. When you look at yards before contact, the Bills offensive line towards the top of the league when it comes to that rushing output. And I know that Spencer Brown's a big part of that. You think about this Bills run scheme, and they're pulling those tackles. Deion Dawkins and Spencer Brown are getting out in space and clearing out running lanes for James Cook and the running backs. What's your reaction to this contract extension for Spencer Brown here, just hours before the season kicks off?
So a few hours ago, I saw Spencer Brown's mom at the Bills store. It was amazing. And she was so happy, and people were telling her, congratulations. I went up to her. I talked to her for a little while. She's just telling me how much he loves Buffalo. He loves being in Buffalo. He loves being a Buffalo Bill, and how much it means to be a part of this organization. And you know what? What you just said about development, I want to go to Aaron Cromer for a second. My colleague, who you all know, Eric Wood from the radio and, of course, playing for the Buffalo Bills. My colleague, Eric Wood, says all the time, when the Aaron Cromer and Sean McDermott are very different personalities, but they mesh so well and they love working together because they're such grinders and they work so hard. And Aaron Cromer is so good at his job. And Eric will tell you how good of an offensive line coach Aaron Cromer is. And Aaron Cromer has a lot to do with what Spencer Brown's been able to do the last couple of years. I have said recently, wondered if the Bills would actually maybe allow Spencer Brown to play out his contract and then not be able to afford him. And the Bills really do like Ryan Vandermark a lot. Ryan Vandermark's a swing tackle. They really like Ryan Vandermark a lot. They like Alec Anderson. I thought, hey, you know what? Spencer Brown might be a little bit too much for them to afford. But when Brandon Beane identifies young talent that he wants to hold on to, they make sure they do it. So for Spencer Brown now to be locked up, and let's remember, Deion Dawkins got a contract extension not too long ago as well, this offseason. So the Bills have their 2 tackles locked up for the foreseeable future. And for me, Spencer Brown and Deion Dawkins are a great reflection of what Aaron Cromer's been able to do with that offensive line and put them in a great spot.
Sal, 2 players on this Bills defense that are really fascinating for me that are going to have big opportunities this year. Dorian Williams at linebacker.
Yeah.
Damar Hamlin at safety. And what's exciting about that is the fact that it is an opportunity. And when you have opportunity for especially young players, it's a chance to kind of unlock something. We saw that happen last season with Terrell Bernard. I sat here and told you guys all off season long how nervous I was about middle linebacker. Dana's nodding her head back there like, yeah, Joe, you did say that. And Terrell Bernard's awesome, isn't he? All right. So what? Let's go. So the point is, when you have opportunities for players to step in, sometimes gems are uncovered. And that's what's on the table for Damar Hamlin and Dorian Williams. And for Damar Hamlin, obviously one of the most storied players in the history of the NFL. And if you go back to that 2021 season, he started 13 games. And it was a big opportunity where we were thinking then, is he potentially one of the guys that whenever it happens to replace Jordan Poyer or Micah Hyde, could he be one of those players? And you thought, oh, maybe. Well, here it is. And now it's a very winding way to get here. But I'm excited for him and to see what happens. Do I have some nervousness? Yeah, of course I do. But I'm also excited to see what he does with the opportunity. And then for Dorian Williams, I have concerns there. But also it's a different ball game for him where he's no longer a rookie out of Tulane that was playing multiple spots at linebacker. He knows exactly what to expect with this opportunity with the year under his belt. And so I'm excited and nervous, but I want to lean into the positivity of, hey, when certain guys get opportunities, that creates some, breakthroughs. And I feel like potentially that could happen for Damar and Dorian.
Yeah, and the funny thing is I think they're both kind of very 2 different players in this regard, right? Which is Dorian Williams is going to make mistakes, but his mistakes are going to be because he is going 100 miles an hour trying to make a play, right? But you're going to live with that because he's going to make some plays doing that. He's going to be terrific sideline to sideline. He's going to see something. He see ball, get ball, make a play. But he's going to be so much better than he was in year number 2. Damar Hamlin's going to make mistakes because, quite frankly, he's not Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, and maybe he'll try to make a play that it's just maybe out of his athletic range. But what he's going to do is he's going to know this defense. He's going to be able to communicate with Taylor Rapp. He's going to be able to line people up. He made a great point when he was with us on Wednesday in his media session, and I didn't think about this. He said, I've played with Taylor as the number 2 defensive guy on the second team all last year. We were at practice all together last year. They know each other. They know how to communicate. This is a super big opportunity for him. I would say, though, Sean McDermott wants a guy he can trust. He knows the system. 4 years in for Damar Hamlin being back there, that's why he's starting tomorrow. Maybe on Thursday night, Cole Bishop's ready. Mike Edwards is ready. Maybe a week from then, one of those guys is ready. Then you'll see a change. But for now, Damar Hamlin has an opportunity to show that he can be the starting safety until those guys can take that job from him.
One of the biggest storylines in the NFL this year is the new kickoff rule.
Yeah.
I get to spend a lot of time with my grandpa Don, my Uncle Buzz, and I was at a cookout at Uncle Buzz's house about a month ago. We could have talked about anything in the world. We talked about the kickoff rule, right?
Is this Uncle Buzz right here?
Uncle Buzz right here.
He must be the biggest Scott Frost fan in the world. He's got a Nebraska t-shirt and a UCF cap.
You know, and I don't even think that's it.
That's okay. That's why. I'm looking, I'm thinking you knew Scott Frost or something. Nebraska and UCF. By the way, it's okay. 2 good schools for football. I like it.
So the kickoff rule is a big topic. And what's been interesting, we've seen 2 games now, and it feels like they're fine with the touchbacks, right? Like you're seeing a lot of touchbacks. The idea was for there to be returns. Now, one of my favorite things about the Bills under Sean McDermott is that they never just conceded the 25-yard line under the last kickoff rule. They said, no, we're gonna make you return it, and we think we can stop you, and you're not going to get the 25. What's your expectation here, Sal? I don't know that Sean McDermott's going to be – I mean, situationally, yes, you're going to want to take your touchbacks and not risk a big return. I have a feeling the Bills are going to be willing to cover these kicks and make teams start further back than the 30.
I don't doubt the Bills will be willing to do that, but you're going to see it on a game plan week to week basis. If you see a really great returner back there, don't be surprised if they just kick it through the end zone. If you see a team that the Bills feel that they can take advantage of, maybe they're not as dynamic, they're going to try and have Tyler Bass pin that thing in between the landing zone. I do think this is going to be a week-to-week thing, but I don't think the Bills are just going to be beholden to one thing that's going to happen every single week. Last night we saw opening kickoff. There it goes.
Right.
Out of the back of the end zone. I wouldn't be surprised if next year, Joe,
35.
they put it to the 35 because they're going to say, all right, you want to do that? We want more returns. And then you're going to see more teams doing it. But I wouldn't tomorrow. Let's see what happens tomorrow. The Bills the Bills might say if they kick off first, we want a big hit. We want to get this crowd fired up.
Right.
Let's put it in the landing zone, get someone down there to drill somebody and get Bills Mafia ready.
I had the opportunity to meet a lot of you guys before we went live here, and I want to get a chance to meet a bunch of you guys when I get done here. And something that's been pretty cool is how many people are here that aren't from or live in Western New York. I met people from Montreal, Orlando, Miami, Denver, right there, Montreal. Let's go. Well, the question I was going to ask is who came from the furthest? Can anybody beat San Francisco? Oh.
Where's she from? Right there, that's about the same, right? You're both in Cali. Mexico.
How do you say go Bills in Spanish? Vamos Bills! Let's go. And can anybody beat that? Mexico? Nobody? All right, we got a hat for you. Can you handle that? Oh no, come up here.
Have him come on up.
For the stream. Your name? Ruben.
Yes.
You got to give us a Go Bills in Spanish.
¡Vamos, Bills!
Let's go. I'm really excited to see this passing game tomorrow and throughout the course of this season. And I am not going to make light of Stephon Diggs not being here, but I am excited for Josh Allen to operate this passing game without the thought of funneling 150, 160 targets to Stephon Diggs. And Dana's excited about that. Everybody.
She's excited about everything. I love it. You're excited. Anything Bills. I love it. Way to be.
What's your expectations here, Sal? Because my mind goes here. I think everybody eats. They're going to spread the ball around. You're going to see a lot of guys get a lot of opportunity. But I think Josh Allen's still going to lean into the players that he trusts the most. And I thought we saw last year this passing game already shift from Diggs and Davis to Kincaid and Shakir. You guys have heard me say it. You know what's about to happen, right?
No.
Khalil Shakir outproduced Stephon Diggs over the last 13 games of the season on 60 less targets. That's one of the most ridiculous stats in the history of the NFL, and it needs more attention. Dalton Kincaid led this team in receiving over the last 12 games last season. I think those are your focal points of this passing game. I'm excited for the rest of the guys, and I think there's going to be a lot of distribution of the ball, but I still think it's going to be Kincaid and Shakir.
100% agree. I think at the end of the year, Dalton Kincaid leads this team in targets and probably receptions as well. The one thing that's interesting about these two players, and I agree with you about how much they're going to lean into them, is where they play. Even though one's a tight end and one's a wide receiver, I think the Bills have made a conscious effort here, Joe, to re-control the middle of the field. If you remember back in 2019, 2020, Cole Beasley and what he did for this team when he got here, 2021, the middle of the field was such a big spot for the Bills to control, and they just haven't been able to do that over the last couple of years. Stephon Diggs is an ex-receiver, an outside receiver. Gabe Davis, this is where they went. They bring in Dalton Kincaid. That started to show last year. I also say, sneaky play, I think Dawson Knox is going to be a bit of a bigger player in this offense than people think this year. This is a guy that last year, I think they wanted to run a lot more 12 personnel. That's one running back, two tight ends on the field. But Dalton was, a rookie, hadn't gotten there yet. And then Dawson got hurt, and he had surgery, and they weren't able to lean into that. I think Dawson Knox is a bigger factor than people give credit for on this team this year, the way they want to do it, the way they want to run it. And Josh Allen's going to take what the defense gives them. Then when they come up to defend that, that's when you'll see a shot over the top. This offense this year is going to be, you know what it is? Joe Brady wants to create an offense that when a defensive coordinator goes in on a Tuesday or Wednesday to his team, he can't say, this is where they're going to be, this is where he's going to be. It's going to be, we don't know where the hell they're going to be, so we have to basically defend every inch of the 53 and a third yard wide field because everybody can line up everywhere, and the Bills want to control every piece, including mostly the middle of the field.
So you guys know I like to get into some football nerdy stuff. Would you mind if I did that right now? Would that be cool? Can we do that? All right. Because I want to build off of what Sal talked about there about controlling the middle of the field. And you've heard probably from me and other people discuss how part of the challenges with the passing game today, not just for Josh Allen, but other top quarterbacks, getting those explosive plays down the field is because defenses are playing split zone coverages. They're playing two high safeties, right? And that means middle of the field open, right? So you have two safeties that are set deep, middle of the field open. When you have one in the middle, it's middle of the field closed. You need to be able
we should do it like this. So Joe's over there, I'm over here. He's a safety over there, I'm over here. This is where you got to go right here, folks. You're coming at us. There you go.
Right, you could your quarterback 101. If it's middle of the field open,
yes,
throw the ball in middle of the field closed, throw the ball outside the numbers. With targets like Kincaid and Shakir, that allows you to work that middle of the field where teams are inviting you to throw the football, but you have to have the players that you trust to get the ball to in those spots. And then on top of that, of course, you have Josh Allen and the big arm that can really challenge those tight windows. But then when you can do that, it opens up things on the perimeter. And so you think about guys like Keon Coleman and Mac Hollins, bigger-bodied guys. They're going to play on the perimeter, give you those size dynamics that you can challenge the defense with 50-50 balls. When you can win the middle of the field, that opens up those favorable matchups on the outside. That's the design and intent of what this passing game wants to be.
Yeah, it's a great point. Good job. And I'll add this. There was maybe nobody better than Cole Beasley at getting open in the middle of the field, like at the top of the route, the way he'd maneuver his body. But Cole Beasley wasn't great after he caught the ball at turning upfield and running. He was good. He could do it. That's where Khalil Shakir comes in. That's where Dalton Kincaid comes in. These guys can catch the ball in the middle of the field and then turn up and make plays. They're great with the ball in their hands. Rack, run after catch. We've heard Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott talk about rack since March. We went to the owners' meetings back in March. We were covering the owners' meetings. I sat at a table with Sean McDermott and the rest of the media. He's talking about the team. We're asking him questions. And he said this very thing you just did and you just echoed. Too high safeties. It's too tough sometimes to throw it over their head. It's okay to make a big play by throwing it to someone and having them run. That counts too. You can do that. So I think the Bills are going to lean into that a little bit more this year. Don't be surprised if you go out to the game tomorrow and you don't see 10 balls thrown over the top, but you do see 20 balls thrown short and guys running with it down the field because I think the Bills feel that's their best way to move the ball down the field.
All right, folks. I'm looking for some participation now. I'm not going to tell you what you're going to do. Okay, you're in? Come on, baby. Let's go. You're in? You want to
Got this guy in the hat?
Right
there you go. Yep.
Yeah, come on. I need 4 more people. Right there. Right here, you stood up. Sean, let's go. Right there in the back. Right there. I got 6? No. Yeah. We're going to fight over this. I can only have 6, and you might be glad that I didn't pick you. All right, we got 6?
Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. Who else wants to participate? Do we have a buff? Do we have a... I can't see right there. Yes. No, right there.
No,
with the glasses. Buffalo Bills, you have a gray sweatshirt on. Yeah, you're pointing to yourself right there. You, yes.
There you go.
All right. All right, we got 6, right? I hope you guys can draw. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to give you 2 crayons and a piece of paper, and I'm going to give you 2 minutes, and you got to draw the Bills logo, the current Bills logo. Winner gets a hat. My grandmother doesn't know this, but she's picking the winner. Whichever one she thinks is the best drawing of the logo. So you stay there. You're not going to get to see. Yeah. Well, all right, so we'll go on that table right there. 1 second, I got to hand out crayons. Yeah, one already. Now, you don't have that much time on this. We're going to give you, Lorraine, how much time did we decide? 2 minutes? 90 seconds? What do you think? 2 minutes? Oh, you're feeling confident, aren't you? All right. We're going to go 90 seconds on the clock, starting now.
Here they go. They're racing to see who can wear the logo. All right, I'm going to do a little play-by-play.
Play-by-play.
Going to do a little play-by-play. All right, we got one that started off with the red stripe here. He started with the red stripe. He's starting with the buffalo. He's starting with the legs of the buffalo down here. This guy just had to he had to flip over his paper. He didn't like what he was drawing right there. We got some legs and that looks like a table. That's a table. I don't know what the hell that is. All right, what do we got here? Oh, there. Okay, we got 1, 2, 3. There's a 4. We got 4 legs here. That's looking good. Don't see any eyeballs left. This guy. Okay, this is this buffalo's pregnant. That's okay. All right, over here, still waiting. This guy's got the smallest buffalo logo. Well, he's going to be a little small too. Okay, this guy's collaring it in. This isn't. It's not a coloring contest, but that's okay. It looks pretty good. Here's the logo coming up more. Oh, I like this one down here. Looks pretty good. The stripe is going pretty far. You got a tough job. You got a tough job, who's ever did it. Oh my goodness, she's coloring it too. Look at this. I like it.
20 seconds left.
20 seconds left. The stripe looks like the flash running through. Man, this guy's got the stripe going big time over here. I need an eyeball. Somebody give me an eyeball too. Remember, eyeball. That's right. Remember, you got that eyeball.
10.
It comes out 10 seconds. Yes.
5.
Isn't there a little eyeball that goes in the bill?
3,
Yeah, he's got an eyeball.
2, 1.
There you go.
Crayons down.
I love it. Now, Joe, remember, I asked for the eyeball, so you know.
All right, give them to me. Give them to me.
That's good. Request.
Yes.
All right, hand them in. Hand them in. These are not as bad as I thought they would be, honestly. I know. All right. Hold on. Come on, Grandma.
Come here. Let me see your cat. This.
Can you give it up for Grandma Judy? All right. Now listen, she doesn't know who drew which one, so be careful here.
If you see any eyeballs you don't like, don't worry. I told them to make an eyeball,
right.
just so you know.
Here's the first one. Now, I want to show everybody. I don't know if you'll be able to see it that well, but okay. First one. Here we go. Then. Okay.
Pretty impressive.
This one wanted to be the Josh Allen potato, but then it took a turn, you know? Took a turn. This one has an eyeball.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. That's her. She listened. Followed my instructions. I was looking at the eye. You know, there's a little eye on the logo. That's okay.
This
it's
one,
cool.
This one is
look at that.
glasses, I'm pretty sure. All right, Grandma, take your time. This is an important choice.
Down there.
That's the one?
That looks good. I like that one too.
The winner. Right there. Let's go. What's up, dude? Thanks, brother. From Montreal. Hey,
Montreal. All right.
My guy's going to help me with my. He's
way to go.
great
Good
at
job.
smoking meats. That's what I've learned. He's going to give me his best recipes. I'm excited for that. What do you have there? Look at this. She just drew this while she was sitting over there. How cool is that? Thank you. Okay. At this point, want to turn it over to you guys. If anybody would want to ask a question, we can get a few questions in before we get out of here. As you're thinking about maybe if you want to participate in that, big shout out to Riverworks for having us. This place is unbelievable. Josh and the staff here has been super kind to me. I'd never been here previously, but when I was at training camp about a month or so ago, Josh brought me in, showed me the place. I've never seen anything like this place. It's incredible. I'm honored to be here. Great venue. There's going to be Bills games all year long. There's going to be great opportunities to come here and take them in. We had the food earlier. It's super good. I had an amazing salad and chicken fingers. They got the new beer launch. You got to try it out. The organically made beer. It's the seltzer water, right?
This is the water. This is Hella Fresh hot water. This is really good.
So
I've been drinking it up here. It's good.
Check that out for sure. Who's got a question? Who wants to participate? That's the first hand I saw. You got to come up here, though. I should have thought that through a little bit more, right?
Okay.
People to come up.
If you have one, yeah, come on up here too.
Great to meet you.
You too. Thank you. What's your name?
Jared.
Hey, he's from Cincinnati. Drove in from Cincinnati. Give it up for our guy here.
Hi, Hi, everybody. First off, I wanted to thank you both for all the coverage you do for the Bills. It's awesome, especially not living in Buffalo. So appreciate all the work you guys do. The big question I have, Joe, I think you had this on an episode a couple weeks ago about your projections for captains for the Buffalo Bills. I just thought it was a little strange to have 2 total captains announced, one on offense, one on defense. So just wanted to hear your thoughts on that and maybe reasons for it.
So the question, you guys heard the question. I don't have to repeat it back to you. This is different. I normally have to read the question, right? Well, the question is about the team captains, the choice to go from, it's usually been 6 to 8 captains, 8 captains last year, down to just 2 this year. Josh Allen on offense, Terrell Bernard on defense. And this feels like a very intentional decision. Sean McDermott certainly explained that every team has a different vibe to it, and he felt like this was the right decision for this team. It almost feels like with the transition, everybody knows 6 of the 8 captains from last year are no longer around. It felt like defining that leadership this year with so much new perhaps was part of the strategic reason. And then you have this 10-person leadership council, and I don't have the names in front of me, but I can tell you that it has every position group represented, and that felt intentional as well. What are your thoughts on that, Sal?
I think this goes back to March and April and all the messaging we were hearing about Josh Allen and leadership and all the leaders that walked out the door and how his leadership has to morph a little bit. I think this is another way for the Bills to give Josh Allen ownership of leadership. Josh hasn't had to be the big leader. He's had all these great leaders around him. And that's not a bad thing, but now all these guys are gone. You've been here 7 years. You're the franchise quarterback. They've been pointing towards Josh being the leader. And now this is the culmination of, see, you are the leader, and you're going to own this being a leader along with Terrell Bernard. And I think it's just been very intentional how they've gone about this.
It's a great question, and what's funny is I had that on my notes, and I didn't get to it. It's like you almost knew I wanted to do it.
Thanks for letting me ask a question. What's up, Bills Mafia? Hey, we want to thank Joe and Sal for doing this being live. I think listening to them every day, it's much better here live and in person. My question for you today is which rookie will have a bigger impact on the offense, Ray Davis or Keon Coleman?
I have thoughts on this. How about a little everybody participates here? The question is, who has the bigger impact this season, Ray Davis or Keon Coleman? So by measure of applause, or however much noise you can make, I will get the consensus from you, and then I'll share my thoughts, and we'll obviously hear from Sal. So if you think it's Keon Coleman that has the biggest impact on the offense, let's hear it. Right there is Keon Coleman, the truther, right there, right there, that guy. If you think it's Ray Davis, let's hear it. I was not expecting that. That was definitely Ray Davis, right? He won that for sure, right here. I think it's Ray Davis as well. Listen, I know that you guys know I'm a little down on Keon Coleman, right? The receipts are out there. I can't hide from it. I'm excited for Keon Coleman in time, but I think the reality is he's probably the 4th or the 5th option in this passing game right now. And for now, at least, he's going to share that opportunity with Mac Hollins. And I certainly understand that Ray Davis has James Cook in his way. And I don't want to dog James Cook, but there's some things about his game that I think need some improvement. He's not the most physical runner, not great in pass protection, has some fumbles, has some drops. And I think for a football team that wants to be physical, I can really see in time Ray Davis just eating more and more into that workload from James Cook, who I thought wore down towards the end of last season as his volume went up in ways that we hadn't seen previously from him. So I think they both have a chance to be meaningful players in this offense. But for this year, I think by the end of it, Ray Davis might be the more impactful player.
You know, I guess it depends how you define impactful too, right? Because I think Keon Coleman's going to make some impactful plays. There's no doubt about it. But when Joe talks about James Cook and what he can or can't do, I look at James Cook and say, look, he's the smallest starting running back in the NFL. They want to keep him healthy. That's okay. You want to take a little load. They took a guy in the 4th round who's going to be 25 years old as a rookie this year in the NFL, and Ray Davis. That tells me they're not wasting any time. Ray Davis is going to be a part of this team. He's going to be on the field, spelling James Cook, and probably more of your short yardage guy in those impactful goal line, short yardage situations. So I do think it's Ray Davis, but I think you could look back at the end of the year and say, boy, Keon had 5 or 6 really impactful plays.
Love it. Thanks for the question. What's up?
What's up, Bills Mafia?
Let's go. Yeah.
So me and my friends, we always sit at the lunch table, and they always say that the Dolphins and the Jets are going to win the division. So I just want to hear your best argument for why the Bills will win the division.
The best argument for
Great question.
why the Bills are going to win the division and not the Dolphins or the Jets. Well, can we start here? Patriots ain't winning the division. You wanted to keep it hush-hush that you're a Patriots fan, and now you're letting people know. Uncle Buzz, everybody. Uncle Buzz.
It's more from being jealous to just kind of being feeling bad. It's okay. It's okay. We've been there.
All right, so the Jets aren't winning the division. Let me tell you why. They're counting on, first of all, can we acknowledge that the New York Jets hype train runs hot every offseason, and it never, ever meets the hype. All right, so I've lived through the last 10 years where I've been told the Jets are going to be good, and they win 6, 7 games. The Jets are counting on way too many injured players to not get injured. Tyron Smith, their left tackle. Mike Williams at wide receiver. Aaron Rodgers is 40 years old, coming off of an Achilles tear, and he hasn't been good in 2 years. Okay? Defensively, they don't have the same depth, especially on their defensive line that they've had in previous years. They rostered 3 undrafted free agents on their defensive line. That's not a good thing, folks. They got the contract issue with Hassan Reddick. They need him. They just don't have the depth on defense, too many injured guys on offense. And let's be honest, that's a team that has expectations that didn't earn those expectations. And so I just don't trust the leadership of that football team to meet the hype once again.
All right, I'll start by answering your question by exactly where you're wearing. Number 17 is the reason the Bills are going to win the division. That's what it is. I mean, we've never seen a 40-year-old quarterback come back from an Achilles injury. We don't know how that's going to go. We know the Buffalo Bills have the best quarterback in the division. The Bills are still a good team, well-coached, good roster. Now, if Rodgers stays healthy the whole year, they have great weapons. They're going to be in the mix, no doubt about it. But that defense has been healthy. They haven't been tested with the depth that Joe talked about. So I think that they can challenge for sure, but they don't have Josh Allen. That's number one. I'm not a believer in the Miami Dolphins.
So let me take the Dolphins here.
Okay.
I can make this real simple for you.
You got it.
The reason the Dolphins aren't winning the AFC East is because the season doesn't end on Halloween.
Ooh, yes. I love it. Yeah, look at their last 6 or 7 games. The Dolphins go to the Packers, Green Bay, on Thanksgiving night. Then they still have to go to the Jets and the Browns in December, in January. Like, they have these cold weather games. They don't perform well there. But for me, I just look at their team. Bradley Chubb still coming off the injury. Jalen Phillips coming off the injury. Jalen Ramsey, why did they give him all that money yesterday? He's 30 years old. He's not necessarily the same player. They have they're going on their third defensive coordinator the last 3-4 years. Changes on no more Christian Wilkins. And we don't know if Tua can stay healthy. That's a big if. I think the Dolphins take a step back from where they were last year.
Let's go. Did you have a question? Last one right here.
What's up, Bills Mafia? I just wanted to speak on behalf of everyone. Thank you, Sal and Joe, for coming and interacting with us as a community. It means a ton to us, so can we give it up for them? More importantly than that, though, you come and interact with us, but I think I speak on behalf of a lot of people. You help educate us Bills fans on football. Watch you guys all the time. It helps educate. I actually got inspired more so, Joe, with your podcast and my sister's friend, Chris Trapasso, to start my own channel. It's The Cup Check on TikTok, YouTube, podcast platforms. Me and my co-host just started this, so I'd love it if you guys all gave it a shout. But we talk a lot about quarterbacks in all sorts of sports, but he argues more for quarterbacks that produce. He likes guys like Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Tua, who put up numbers. I love arguing that the support system around them does a lot for those types of guys, and I love arguing for guys like C.J. Stroud, Pat Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, and Josh Allen being in the top 5 quarterbacks. So I'd be interested in hearing your unbiased take. Who are your top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL right now?
I did this summer. Does anybody remember how I did it?
Do you go by when you do it,
John,
though?
you know my rankings?
When you say,
Oh, you do? Yeah, I know the top 3 too. That was concerned about 4 and 5. I know it. I'm good. I'm good.
let me ask you a question, though. When you do your rankings, Joe, do you go by who you think are the most talented or who you'd rather have in your team leading them to win? Because I think those can be different things.
Yeah, I do. It's that. It's probably all encompassing of that. I think the best quarterback in the league. Man, you're gonna make me say this right now? You're gonna make me get booed here at the end of this?
You don't have to say number 1. You just have to say who the top 5 are.
That's
They can
right.
be in any order you give them. See?
Thank
You got it. He said your top 5.
Top 5. Josh Allen. You like that, Tom, didn't you? Patrick Mahomes. Boo. Joe Burrow. Boo. I really like Matthew Stafford. I think he's a top 5 quarterback. A little bit of love for Matthew Stafford. And number 5. Lamar. Did you watch the last 3 plays of that game? Airmailed 2 balls. Yeah, if he didn't spin around in the pocket for no reason, maybe he wouldn't have need that last inch. Who's number 5? Dak?
You got Hurts. You got Dak.
I like Herbert.
It's funny, though. You love Herbert, and you're down in Lamar, and Lamar has been way more successful in this league in everything he's done. Herbert has wilted even more than Lamar has.
Lamar's had way better defensive supporting cast.
He has 2 MVPs also.
Right, but we know that at least one of those.
I love Herbert as well. I think Lamar has got to be considered in the top 5 for what he's accomplished and what he's done in this league. And I actually have reservations a bit about Burrow sometimes. I think he's talented, but sometimes I'm not fully on board with him. And I do wonder about the injury this year specifically, how much he's fully recovered, how much it impacts him, because we've heard some talk about that injury being something that can impact you for the rest of your career.
It's an unprecedented
right?
injury, yeah.
There's no doubt. It's tough for me. I'm a big C.J. Stroud fan, but I got to see it a little bit more. I think C.J. Stroud is excellent. I want to see this a little bit more from C.J. Stroud. So I would probably still put Burrow in my top 5, Allen and Mahomes. I'm going to put Lamar in my top 5. I'm going to put C.J. Stroud in my top 5.
Before we get done here, I got to take a picture. Can you guys, come in and we can do a selfie like this? Would that be cool? Bring it together? You got it?
Want us to go there? She can take it here.
That's my idea. You go down there too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you go down there.
My wife, Lorraine. What are we doing? You have my camera?
I got mine. Okay, so I'm not good on the mic. Sorry. If everyone who's here to see Joe can just kind of crowd in a little bit on each side. I know most everybody's here to see Sal, more me, grandparents. So I'm going to count to 3. And I would like everyone to just give your best, "What's up, Bills Mafia?" Because this is the coolest thing ever, and I just appreciate everybody being here for my husband who works so hard. And I just think this would be a monumental moment. So on 3, if everyone can please give your best, from your gut, you know what I mean? All right. Hold on 1 second. Let me make sure I got my camera in focus. Whatever you feels good. 1, 2, 3. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. That was amazing. Thank you. Oh my God, you're gonna die.
All right, folks. The hay is in the barn. All that's left to do is for the Buffalo Bills to go out and beat the Arizona Cardinals tomorrow. And then you know what we get.
Hey, I just want to say one more time, you know, Joe, he awesome enough to have me. I told him, dude, this is your show. People are coming here to see you. For you to bring me up here to be a part of it, I appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. Roll call. Who's going to the game tomorrow? Love it.
You know what you guys want to hear on Monday, right? Happy Victory Monday to... We only do it when we do it. So that's our next episode. As always, I kindly ask that you share, subscribe, rate, and review. Go Bills! And I look forward to catching up with you again real soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Locked On Bills podcast. That was great. Thank you, Joe and Sal. So, guys, I heard a lot of you say you were going to the game tomorrow, but if you didn't have those plans, there is a contest here tonight. You can go see Mary at the Totally Buffalo.